black light here. Now, I left off uh, talking about my previous videos, talking about uh, building black hospitals. We know we used to have a black hospital here in Detroit that stayed pretty active up until maybe I say the 90s, you know. Then it disappeared. The building, I think they tore down the building also. But there are no more black hospitals, and a lot of you younger generation probably never knew, especially in Detroit, that we had black hospitals. We had black doctors, black clinics here for a long time, up until, like I say, up until into the 1990s, you know, and they gradually disappeared. But Elijah Muhammad was talking about building a major hospital. I seen the drawing. If you can get a old Muhammad Speaks, you'll see the layout or the blueprint for how the prototype of how this hospital is going to be. It was pretty large, you know. And now, you know, my mother's in the hospital. They took her blood. They're experimenting on her, you know, and giving all these pills. She has a heart problem. I don't know how bad it is, but she's 91 years old and she's been fighting, but she's beginning to develop a little bit of dementia, and she went to the hospital. I think it was on the 15th or something like that. And she went back. Let's see. Let me look at the calendar. Yeah, it was on the 15th. Then she went back on her birthday, the 22nd. And she's in a different hospital. And all the doctors is foreign born doctors. A couple of them are Jews. A couple of them are. She got 3 hospitals she's dealing with: Henry Ford, DMC, and Beaumont. It's a long story of how she got mixed up with all these hospitals. But I don't go to hospitals, and she be wanting me to go to the hospital. I'll be telling her I don't trust her. I had a brother that had a respiratory problem. See, in my family, we got respiratory problems. You know, sometimes you hear me sniffing and, you know, maybe breathing hard. And I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into my history. But I know this, that my brother died at the age of 4. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And this was at Receiving Hospital, which is now DMC. Now, you know, y'all know my age is 71 years old. And through my experience, I'm coming to y'all. I seem to be, I mean, y'all can tell if I'm in my right mind or not, you know. I'm not on drugs. Now, I came through that scene, though. I came through, just like most of you, I came through Growing up here in Detroit City as a young brother, streetwise brother, trying to be streetwise, you know, because around me, the ones that were successful either was uh, pimps, hustlers, players, gangsters, con men. And you'll see them sharp as hell, you know, they whip be decked out, they whip be, how y'all say, pimped out, and they always had plenty of women. They always seem to be making money. Now my uncle was the only one I seen that was all the above mentioned, but he dressed down, he dressed raggedy. Uncle Piety. I had an Uncle Carl the same way, that ran Hastings Street. They call him Red. He ran Hastings Street and ran the cops over there too. All this is back in the 20s and 30s, 40s, you know. And all the way up into the 80s when my uncle died. So I know the game that's being played on us. And take it or leave it. And I can't understand why the Nation of Islam didn't pick up where Elijah left off. I think if they would have done that, would have maintained the banks, maintained the boats. They had actually boats. They had airplanes. They had banks. They had apartment buildings. They had grocery stores, restaurants. I believe if they would have maintained it, to name, you know, a few, schools everywhere with buses, they'll come and pick you up. I think that I believe all the blacks in the United States of America and abroad would have been with the Nation of Islam. But right now, the way things are going, they're gaining, you know, members, but not at the rate they was when Elijah. Even when Malcolm passed, you know, Elijah, it was gaining rate. But we need those black hospitals. Now, the Caucasoid wants to take us down with it. I'm going to end this right here. And the next one I'm going to come back and tell you the reason why the Caucasoid wants to take us out of here. Black light out.